Steve Alcorn's a fine investigator. What he's doing with this Chris dude, I have no idea.
I gave her cigarettes for our anniversary one year.
Well, there you go. That's fucking romantic.
She didn't like gifts. I said, well, I want to get you something. What do you want? Just give me a couple packs of cigarettes. So I wrapped them up and gave them to her.
Yeah, have some lung cancer.
You got a dead Bigfoot that's just been shot, hanging upside down in a tree. Though Melvin was also careful to note, it's not a course about Bigfoot.
It's a course about Fozzie Bear. Who's Fozzie Bear? Some say his father was half grizzly. Nobody believed he was real. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a Muppet. To me, that was better than being president of the United States.
They upped my meds last night, so anything's possible. We're laughing at a story about dead people. I can't explain it, but it sure makes me feel like the spirits are happy.
I mean, I guess you could say it might have been somebody's hand moving real quick, but it's not a fucking ghost.
The jury's still out on that.
See, your hoaxes come at you with smiles. They come as your friends.
Pope Francis says doggy heaven is real, so your dog has a soul.
Ah, so now the dogs can hang out with the pedophiles.
Not Benedict, Francis, Pope Francis.
No, I'm just guilt by association, Steve.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's what they say when they talk about me and you.
Yeah, there you go. Good evening, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. Tonight, I will be your host. An asshole.
Okay.
A dickhead.
Yeah.
An all-around negative person. I think. Maybe.
I don't know.
No, not really. Tonight, we will look at... Oh, this is episode, what? 80?
80?
80?
Sure.
I really didn't look tonight, so if I'm on, that's a complete guess.
I think last time it was 79, so yeah.
I think you're right. By the way, this is a disclaimer for all you listeners out there. If you own dogs, at any time tonight, they may like perk their ears up and flip out because Steve can hit these fucking high pitches with these new teeth that he's got. So
shiny brand. I
fucking
apologize.
you don't even need to efferdent them fucking bitches, do you, Steve?
Not yet. No. Efferdent is a cleaner, Chris.
It's like
Fixident is the
right,
thing.
right. Because they're brand new. The efferdent, you don't have to clean them.
Oh, I see. I thought, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I don't have to. Well, I just use regular toothpaste.
Yeah. But tonight we decided to finally wade into the, I don't know what you'd call it. The slow decomposition of a man.
Yeah. I would call it something
Publicly,
like
the slow decomposition of a man. And I'm not talking like, that this is, it's gone to like blatant attacks. And he's, and we're talking about Jonathan Brown, by the way, of the Brown footage, the thermal.
Not the brown footage, the brown footage.
Yes, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Well, you do, but
Yeah, I do.
yeah, not the people out there. So I'm talking about the Washington State from the Olympic Peninsula. What was it called? The Grays Harbor thermal
Yes.
footage.
I'm not sure exactly how they titled it, but it's from Grays Harbor.
Right.
I mean, you've been there, Chris, so you know more than I do about that. But Grays Harbor, Jonathan and
listen,
Sarah
Steve. Let me clarify a few things for you. A,
Mm-hmm.
when I was in Washington State, I was on vacation.
Right.
B. Washington State is a legal weed state, so I didn't really drive. Yeah, let's just say that, Steve. Let's
Okay.
just say that. So, I mean, yeah, I went there. We did a show about it. I mean, fuck, that's public too.
Yes.
I went there with my wife and with Jeff Kelly from the Squatchers Lounge podcast, and David
Yes.
Backdorf from the same aforementioned podcast. And we checked out the place. We actually had a good time. I never really stated it. I don't know if I ever stated much of anything public besides that I didn't buy into the sounds that were there.
Right.
Because I mean, on a personal level, when you meet people, you kind of want to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt
Usually.
when you're dealing with them. And we had a good time. We spent a couple of days there. Jonathan actually got, I mean, to his credit, he got us a cheap room at the casino.
Well, there you go.
And we had a good time. I actually met Phil Poling up there, or as we call him, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have pictures of Bob next to a fake alien body that Doug Hudson brought.
Oh, and that's the same time that the Doug Hudson's Bigfoot was chasing you, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Jonathan Brown got into the Bigfoot suit, chased me through the fucking woods. They filmed Jonathan in the Bigfoot suit in the same location as the thermal to get comparisons and to see if it was could possibly have been a person in a suit. But and like I said, I was, from what I knew, I'm going to say from what I knew, I was friends with Jonathan and Sarah for quite a while. There was an issue when I first went up there where all of a sudden I got a text message before we had left for our vacation. And Sarah says, I don't want to cause problems or anything. She wasn't even mean about it or anything, but someone had told her that I had called her a whore.
Gee, I don't know who that could have been.
Stacey Brown. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Anyway, and I was like, no, I never said that about you. I would never, say that about you. I don't know you.
Yeah, yeah. Before you went up there, you didn't really have much communication with the Browns, did you? Before you went?
No, not really. And I never had posted publicly about them, really. I mean, besides talking about the thermal footage, which at the time, and even till now, I think it's, out of the footage that's out there, I mean, I don't know that it's fucking Bigfoot, but it's pretty fucking interesting. But
It's interesting footage, yeah.
Yeah, that's about all I'd say about it.
I don't think there's any way to tell from just thermal imagery whether it's a Bigfoot or not. You can do your comparison videos. I did a comparison video on their thermal, a day-night comparison with, to try to determine how large the thing was. And in my opinion, it was a larger thing, but it could have been a cow. It could have been just about anything. I mean, it's a thermal video. You really can't.
Almost everyone who's been on the opposite side of the fence of it, it's not a Bigfoot, has said that it's a cow. Like,
right.
Almost right down the line. Everybody that doesn't believe it's a Bigfoot thinks it's a fucking cow. Because a cow walks through fucking frame in the video.
Right.
So, I mean, I started seeing these posts, and everything's public. I mean, it's all out there. And he started doing it a while back. And I can't remember when the post was, and I don't have the exact date of it, but it was just the other day, or I think it was yesterday. It might have been last night. I don't know. So bear with me on that. Let me find it here. We need like
While you're looking for that,
we need like do
while you're
do
looking for that,
music.
Chris?
Yes.
While you're looking for that, Chris, I just want to state for the record, Sarah and Jonathan both knew basically what your opinion of the video was, that it's inconclusive, basically, before you ever went up there, correct?
Correct.
And they still, to this day, and you haven't changed that opinion.
No, in fact, I had I had a discussion with Jonathan, and I told him, I said, I don't care what you tell me, unless it's standing in front of me, or I can see something definitive, then what do you want me to say? And he was like, no. He was like, no. My brother's just like that. And he, him and I get along just fine.
Yeah. Furthermore, you've never come out saying this is absolutely not a Bigfoot. Jonathan Brown is a crazy man.
No.
Not anything like that.
No.
Correct. Neither has anybody, as far as I know, in the Squatchers Lounge.
Correct.
Or the Coalition Group.
I don't know about the Coalition Group. I'm not in there.
I am. I haven't really, until I'm sure the post that you're about to read said something about it. Right. I had never really heard anything negative. And nobody's really come out. There's been negativity about the thermal itself, the original thermal video.
And I don't want to step outside my bounds of talking about this either. But for the record, Jonathan Brown was doing a show with Matt Knapp,
our former co-host.
Now, all things aside from, Matt had left the show. He started doing a show with Jonathan later on. Matt and I still remain friends. Matt has done the show.
Right.
He actually recorded a fucking Down the Rabbit Hole with David Batdorf and me. And I forgot to hit the fucking microphone button for me.
You dumbass.
Oh, yeah, no shit, right? I was wicked high that night. But anyway, so, I mean, I don't want anybody to think there was ever any, issue as far as Matt and I were concerned on a level that, that wasn't the case. Matt did this show with Jonathan. And I guess all of a sudden, Jonathan leaves. And he's not doing the show anymore. Now, I'm not going to comment any further on that. If Matt had wanted to come on and talk about that, I'd love him to. I couldn't catch him today, so I don't know if I'll be able to at a later date, but that's all I'm going to say about that. All of a sudden, Jonathan gone. And then, after that, Jonathan starts making these posts about Bigfoot being a demon, or a devil, or fucking whatever. I don't know. And
from what I've read from the posts, he seems to be attacking those of us who want to go, not me or you personally, but as a group of people, like the whole Squatchers Lounge and the whole Coalition Group, and anybody who's approaching this in a more skeptical or scientific manner. In the beginning, he was seeking out those types of people, like you, Phil Poling, for example, more skeptical type, scientific type people who want the truth. But now it's like a total 180, and he's turned and gone. Well, we call it the woo. He's gone to the woo side.
Well,
now,
all I can say is this:
like
the facts of this. All of a sudden, and for the record, I don't buy into chemtrails.
Me either.
For the record. And Sarah Brown starts making posts about how chemtrails are a fucking thing, and she is totally in, that fucking her eyes are burning, and then Jonathan fucking goes down the road. And I don't understand any of it, because I was talking with these people right up until December of last year.
And I've talked to him since. Not Jonathan. I don't believe I've ever had a conversation with Jonathan, but I have had several with Sarah. She used to trust me to look at some of her evidence, quote unquote evidence, as well as Matt, I believe she always trusted. And then all of a sudden that kind of dropped off. Now I never got back to her on the last thing she sent me, because it's right after she sent me that's when all this started going down. And I just didn't want to get in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So I never formed an actual opinion of the last thing she sent me. It was a video clip or something of that nature, or a series of photographs, but which, ambiguous at best, which most Bigfoot evidence is. I mean, you can't scientifically determine a species from a photo. So, but up until that point, they seem to be on the, okay, let's get this done scientifically side. And then the chemtrail thing seems to be what started all this, I think. I mean,
well,
maybe
hey, and I'm not making that
know.
assumption. I'm just, these are the facts as they are. These things were posted publicly. This is what went fucking down.
Right.
And then there's this post the other day, which, like I said, it was either yesterday, last night. I copy and pasted the post. I have it out there. It's in the Squatchers Lounge. It's fucking on Jonathan Brown's page. I don't know where else it is.
It's in the Coalition too.
It's in the Coalition, wherever the fuck it is. So, from Jonathan Brown, are you guys getting closer? I'm on the edge of my seat. Please tell me that there's amazing video, or that someone has one hanging in a meat locker. If you need help, don't forget that there are Bigfoot experts. Go check out the Squatchers Lounge. They'll tell you how to do it the right way. For the newbies, I'm kidding. Aside from the Coalition, that's the second dumbest group of weak minds. Now, that's a pretty blanket statement.
Right. And you and I are members of the Squatchers Lounge, so that covers us, correct? I would assume.
I would assume. I mean, and
right.
The way I've seen the jabs come out, to me it seems like it's just like he's poking at people without saying names.
It seems to me that he's poking at groups of people with really no. Now I don't know what goes on behind the scenes on that, but I didn't see any provocation to lead up to that for the Squatchers Lounge. As far as I know, that's one of the groups that has been the most supportive of the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't get why this happened. Now, maybe something behind the scenes happened that we don't know about. I have no idea. But now the Coalition gets a lot of flack for speaking out all the time.
Hey, for the record,
so I understand why people attack that.
For the record, I left the Coalition.
Yes, I know you. I'm still in there, but
I have no patience for the shit. I have no patience for bullshit, and I left. That's fact.
Right.
So, but I just see the posts as attacks, and I remained friends with him, and
right.
I don't want, like I said, this is me laying out the fucking facts for the record. I thought Jonathan was an okay guy.
Right.
I thought there were things that were off about him. Like when he took us around the property and him and Sarah took us around the property, everything that they pointed out was Bigfoot. Like this tree, that's broken off down here that, could have possibly been from up there, or whatever. Right. There was something twisted into I think a stick twisted into a barbed wire fence. There were bottles with stuff stuffed in them. And they were like, isn't this weird? And I'm like,
no, it could be Bigfoot, I'm sure.
I guess. But is it totally plausible that, kids or whatnot are running through your backfield and leaving fucking trash?
That's also a possibility.
That's where my brain goes.
Well, and anybody who has any sort of skepticism at all, which you should, because it's a healthy thing to have, you shouldn't just go out because if you don't have skepticism, everything is going to be what you want it to be. So you should have a little bit, at least, of skepticism when you go out. So anybody with that kind of mindset is going to go out there and say, hey, we got to eliminate such and such before we can get to such and such. And Bigfoot is not, and almost never is, the go-to conclusion in these things. You know what I mean? Just isn't.
My brain goes to the logical thing that it could be.
Well, and that's the way it should be.
I said it before, the quote unquote Bigfoot howls that everybody was toting as, and for the record, Jeff Kelly got behind those when he said that they sounded just like what he heard up in the Sierras.
And it's possible that it could be,
but I don't fucking buy it.
Right. And everybody's known that, including the Browns, that because you told them.
The whole time I had that opinion. I said it on Jeff's show.
Right. And I remember that show. And so, yeah. I just don't get why they're going after people who have done nothing but support them. And that's what, and I can't drag Sarah into that because she hasn't made those sorts of comments, but Jonathan certainly has.
Yeah.
So publicly, Sarah hasn't.
I've kind of watched it. I've watched it real quiet. You know what I mean?
Well, that wasn't the first statement. I mean, it goes back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This
statement, months.
This statement here that I read word for word just happened.
Right. But, I mean, Jonathan started out by, I believe his first kind of off-the-wall statement was that he just didn't believe in it anymore, and he was giving up the Bigfoot stuff. And do you remember that one?
Yes, correct. First off, he said, I'm done with Bigfoot. I'm checking out. And then it was post after post after post.
And then it evolved into this Bigfoot is a demon type thing.
Yes.
I'm like, these are people who I was kind of behind. I mean, I didn't come out publicly and state, hey, these are the best Bigfoot researchers in the world because they got this thermal or audio or whatever. But the thermal was, sort of compelling. So you're going to try to support things that are compelling. And I did my best with that. And I know you did. And so did Jeff Kelly and David Batdorf, certainly.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, they haven't come out specifically and attacked an individual, except for their thing with Derek Randall's, which may have been justified.
Which, by the way, I have a whole recorded show of Jonathan Brown bashing the shit out of Derek Randall's. That I was
and like I said,
that I was told not to air.
Right. But that may have been justified as far as he did have a legitimate gripe with what Derek allegedly did.
He did have a legitimate gripe with what Derek did, for the record.
Right. So, but that's kind of what I think started this whole mess, is because after that is when it seemed to start going downhill. And then they got into the chemtrail thing, and then it just went off the fucking deep end. And now I'm not saying, I don't know what I'm saying about it, but in my opinion, it just got nuts real fast.
Yeah.
I know you opened the show by saying the slow decomposition of a man, but it was a pretty quick one in my opinion.
No, I've watched it. To me, it's been kind of slow. So, I don't know what to say. It's like, you go out and you meet these people, and then things get fucked up. And you and I talked about this before the show. It's like how everything goes.
I mean, you want to think it's uncommon, but it's not. It happens all the fucking time in any sort of Fortean type research. It happens. I mean, people just turn. And it's weird.
It is a fucking weird, strange thing. And I'll tell you what, if somebody wants to write an amazing paper about the psychology of people.
Yeah, just look into the Fortean fields and you'll find it easy. I
No,
mean, it's
no. Let's be frank. Go Bigfoot.
what. Trust me, Chris. It happens in the UFO research and everywhere. No, UFO research is kind of
Now,
a little different. They usually
Steve,
start
you
out.
know that if it's a fucking pyramid.
In the UFO research, I found you usually start off crazy, and then you kind of, when there's no real evidence, you kind of turn the other way and start becoming skeptical. But in Bigfoot research, it seems you start out skeptical, but you want to believe, and then you just turn fucking nuts and start thinking
Steve,
Bigfoot does all this shit.
The gods flew in chariots.
They
It
did.
had to be ancient alien.
I don't know. I still like Sarah. Like I said, I haven't talked to her in a while. Was some of her theories a little, far-fetched? Probably. But what I've seen from Jonathan lately is just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
I'd like to
And
call
I
it a
think
complete
that's-
180, but I don't even think that describes it.
Well, maybe he was leaning that way before, and we just didn't see it that. I mean, you said you've seen signs of it, but not totally crazy woo shit. Like Bigfoots are demons.
Yeah, I seriously, I don't even know what to think about it. I have been trying to wrap my head around it.
Somebody to do that.
What's that?
What causes that? I think that's what the paper should be. What causes somebody to be a perfectly skeptical, logical, thinking human being? And I'm not trying to say that these people have gone crazy, and maybe to them it is 100% logical to believe that Bigfoot is a demon, but I don't know. But what causes you to believe one way and then shift all the way to the other side that quickly?
Yeah.
In my opinion, quickly.
It's the attack on people that I don't get, because listen, I am, I guess what I could call myself is a Bigfoot wannabe believer.
Right.
Like I love, and I'll state it again for the record, I fucking love this quote from Greg Newkirk. It is the best fucking thing I ever heard about Bigfoot. He said, "I like Bigfoot like I like Jesus. Cool dude with a shitty fan club."
And that's pretty much it.
And the fuck it rings true. Almost all the time it fucking rings true. It's very, very little have I found people that are solid to deal with regularly. It's very
And even
hard.
when you do, when you think people are solid, they turn out to be assholes, or they do this sort of flip where they just go off the deep end.
Yeah, like I said, it has baffled me to no end. To no fucking end.
It seems to me that a lot of the Bigfoot researchers who are doing this, Bigfoot has these special abilities and goes through portals or is a demon, or they seem to have the biggest followings. Perhaps that's why people start doing it that way. Maybe it's not because they're really interested in the Bigfoot research itself, but more of making a name for themselves. I don't know if that. I don't know that's the case in Jonathan's mind, or he just really believes that, or what. But it just seems to me that a lot of people start following this because there are no answers. We have no answers for Bigfoot. None.
Yeah. What do we have for evidence? Zip.
Zero. I mean, we got footprint casts and things like that, but that's all circumstantial. It's not proof. And so people turn to the woo side because, hey, we can say whatever the fuck we want.
Bigfoot,
and it's Bigfoot.
Bigfoot cloaked. Cloaked. Poof, gone.
Right. Yeah.
Bigfoot
He was there, but he
portals.
cloaked. I mean, because you cannot prove that scientifically. There's no way to prove a Bigfoot cloak scientifically. You can prove or disprove a footprint cast scientifically,
Kind of.
sort of, because we don't have a type specimen. We can't prove it 100%, but we can say likely it came from a Bigfoot, or likely it's a human or a bear or whatever. But how do you prove cloaking?
You got me.
There's no science behind it.
Yeah, I don't know. So
Or how do you prove Bigfoot's a demon? You can't.
Call up the fucking voodoo witch doctor, Steve.
It's just like the field of ghost hunting. I can say anything's a ghost, because there's no scientific way to prove or disprove what I'm telling you.
It's all just stories, for the most part.
I can record voices. I can, Photoshop an image. I can do whatever the fuck I want, and people are going to buy into it because there's no way to prove or disprove that. And there may someday be a way, but I doubt it.
I wish we could say that there was.
Yeah.
And I've said this before on the show. I've had weird shit happen to me. But it doesn't mean that I don't look at it logically.
No, there's a meme or how do you say that? Meme or mem or meme?
I don't know how you say that fucking
thing. What I'm talking
I'd say
about.
meme.
Okay. There's one of these going around, and it says the top 10 ways that science has been disproven by a supernatural explanation. And all the lines are blank.
Yeah, I like
that. And it's like the best one out there because science has never been proven wrong by a supernatural explanation, because you can't prove supernatural anything. Period. You can say I have all this evidence, but it doesn't exist. So
until we have a specimen, or I don't know what type of video evidence at this point would be completely conclusive, unless like fucking National Geographic came back, or
even
fucking or Disney, and yeah, even then I'd be like, hey, wait a minute, why is Pixar in the credits?
Right. You have to. Video will never prove the existence of a species, because you can't do it that way. It has to be a type specimen.
People got to go
look at it. I'm sure that people who are into this woo stuff know that, and so their excuse is, well, we don't want to harm them. Well, fuck that shit. Shoot one.
I don't get it.
Bring me the type specimen, and then I'll be happy. I've said
it a lot. Debate. I've said it a lot this show. I'm fucking baffled, dude. It's got me to a point where I don't even know what to think. And when you and I started, I was fucking fed up with this fucking goddamn shit to begin with. It's why I wanted to start the show, was to be able to say, what the fuck?
It keeps dragging us in, though.
What?
I don't know how it happens.
No, I mean, I just wanted to be able to be like, what the fuck is going on, and question shit,
right,
and give stuff its proper due.
Right.
But when it comes to stuff like, you've met someone, you've had what you think is a decent, connection with that person, or whatever, and it just goes, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, and it's not the first, and it's not the last time that's going to happen in the Bigfoot community. It happens all the fucking time.
So, I mean,
people
I guess
can be
ultimately,
your friend for years.
Ultimately, I hold Jonathan and Sarah no ill will, and I wish them the best. In, I guess, whatever the fuck it is they're trying to do. I mean, I don't want them to fucking harm anybody. But
I suppose we'd like to understand why the roundabout, why the turnaround,
Yeah, I don't understand it, and I'd like to, but I don't think that I'm going to unless I don't even know that talking to him at this point would make a difference. It seems like it's just this blatant all-out attack, and I don't support that. That's bullshit. I mean, yeah,
I think
there's some people, like, is everyone in the Squatchers Lounge a fucking great person? No.
No, of course not.
There's
no
2,900 and something
great.
fucking people in there. No. Coalition, I don't know how many fucking people are in there, but I can tell you the same thing. You know, are there fucking people in there that are deplorable? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But
they're good people, too.
But to blanket statement shit like that, and to say people are weak-minded, and to be making the comments that have been being made, it just, to me, it seems like it's a public, all-out attack on a certain group of people without it being a fucking blatant, all-out attack on a certain group of people. If you know what I mean.
Well, if he's attacking the Squatchers Lounge, he's attacking specific people in that lounge. And because we know that Jeff Kelly's always supported them. We know that Phil has always supported them. And so, and those are the people, and David, has been, I don't know, we call it support, but, we had their back, that kind of thing.
David was willing to go down. No, for the record, David was willing to go down to the Browns and walk them through step by step how to do this scientifically, to document everything and to get fucking, to make this actual research. And that never went down.
Well, but basically, the lounge itself, now I can't speak for the coalition, but the lounge, the members of the lounge, the head members, the big members, David and Jeff and those guys, they were willing to do whatever it took to help the Browns out, even by going there. And
yeah, we all went there.
David. Yeah. So to do now, like I said earlier, I don't know what went on behind the scenes. There could have been something said that pissed Jonathan off. I don't know. But I just publicly, as far as I knew, everybody was always, okay, the Browns, they're cool people and whatever, So,
yeah, like I said, I wish him no ill will. I had a decent time hanging out on their property with everybody, including them. Like I don't want them to think that, I didn't have a good time visiting with them.
And all my chats with Sarah, I mean, her and I shared different things about experiences that we may or may not have had, and whether they were Bigfoot related or not. And I came to the conclusion when I talked to her that she still was a skeptical, but wanted to believe this stuff at that point. And so I don't know. I just don't get the 180s. I never get them.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's got me, and like I said, because it's people that I know, that I actually know. Like I spent a couple days hanging out with them. I wouldn't say that I know them, personally. We hung out all the time. We went to the bar, had drinks, and Yeah. No, it was fucking 2 days, granted, and I talked to him quite a bit.
They live on the other side of the country.
Right, and I talked to him quite a bit afterwards, back and forth. But it's that I don't understand it. I don't get it. But hey, it is what it is, and I guess, like I said, good luck to him. But I think what they're doing is they're just blatantly attacking people for no fucking reason whatsoever. And I have to me, that's what it sounds. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, I'd like to understand why. That's all.
Yeah, or hey, if you want to call out fucking specific people, go ahead. If I'm one of those people, I'll fucking address it.
Right. Oh, did I do this? If you did it, then you'll man up to it. I know you didn't do anything, but
I've man up to jacking off for fucking I don't know how many hours on this goddamn program. I fucking man up to anything.
Right. So, I mean, yeah. I don't know what the stick up the ass is, but hopefully it calms down. I don't see that happening, though.
Neither do I. You got any news?
I guess so.
Okay.
From the ABQ Journal. I bet you that's Albuquerque, but I don't know.
I thought it was going to be ABC.
No, ABQ Journal. Roswell. Just what landed on the desert floor outside of Roswell on a July night almost 70 years ago.
A UFO, Steve?
Too many. Well, let's see.
Oh, wow.
Too many people still remains a thing of
myself
mystery
on these
and
things,
wonder.
Steve. I'm excited.
It's not a UFO. It's a thing of mystery and wonder, according to the article. The Roswell incident also has sparked discussion, television specials, movies, and scrutiny. And it's also given birth to the UFO Festival, a citywide celebration 2 decades in the making that runs from Thursday, July 2nd to Sunday, July 5th.
Spend your 4th of July at Roswell.
Hey, you know what? I think that'd be awesome, to be honest with you.
Hey, if the fireworks are good,
find?
I'm sure the people watching would be a blast.
Oh, yes. What will you find at the Roswell Festival, Chris? Well, I'm going to tell you. Alien parades and costume contests for pets and their owners and little green men on the run are all part of the festivities.
I promise you, Steve, if this show ever goes anywhere, you and I are going to this fucking festival.
Oh, that would be awesome, man.
We will broadcast live from the fucking UFO festival.
That would be great. For the duration of the festival, Main Street is shut down and lined with vendors selling out-of-this-world items. Entry to the festival and many of the various accompanying features is free. Even the Roswell Museum and Art Center gets into the spirit of the festival, sponsoring the Alien Costume Contest and Alien Pet Costume Contest that will be held on July 4th. The museum also is running an exhibit that ties in with the festival, celebrating the convergence of art and technology, says Sarah Woodbury, curator of collections and exhibitions. Currents is a celebration of medium, combining any or all of the firm's interactive installations, sound, animation, and ideas, she said. And those seeking the more serious side of life here and elsewhere may find a trip to the museum's tribute to Robert H. Goddard to be rewarding. Yeah, that sounds like a great time. A replica of the workshop includes much of the equipment the groundbreaking rocketry scientists used to create his work, including thrust chambers and rocket parts, Woodbury said. So anyway, if you're down in near Roswell this weekend, Chris, I think you should hit that up. Next weekend.
I'm not gonna make it to Roswell next weekend.
Damn.
I've got a family thing. So.
No, I don't, but I'm still not gonna make it. But if we ever can.
I'm telling you, I'm stating it for the record now. If this fucking show goes anywhere, you and I are going to the fucking goddamn UFO festival. We're gonna broadcast live and probably get kicked out.
Incidentally, I spoke with a resident of Roswell one time when I was selling old people clothes by telephone. I was a telemarketer, a catalog salesperson, and they had no clue what I was talking about when I asked them about the UFO that crash landed there. Huh? There was a UFO here?
What?
The people of Roswell really don't give a fuck, is what I'm trying to say. It's tourism money.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were vaguely familiar, but that was it. Netflix, Chris, from bingboing.net. Winona Ryder is going to star in a new Netflix paranormal TV show. Sounds awesome. Winona Ryder, hot. Sign on as a star. Hot wasn't in there. I kind of threw that in.
I personally don't find her hot, but continue.
Well, she's no Natalia Reagan, but what are you going to do?
No, this is true. But then I see Bruce. Caitlyn Jenner. I'm sorry, Caitlyn. Fucking sorry. It fucking slipped. And she looks just like fucking Natalia Reagan. And I said she, For the record, by the way.
Yeah. And for the record, I liked your post about you're not changing your rainbow background because your thing to a transparent rainbow because I like that post. That was good.
Listen, no, my post was exactly this. I'm not going to change my profile picture to a transparent rainbow overlay because my profile picture already contains all the colors of the rainbow, and I always supported homosexuals being able to be married. So there.
God bless you. Oh, wait. No, that kind of goes against...
Hey, if they want to fucking get married and have divorce rates and...
Hey, I agree, man.
Fucking have at. Have at.
Hey, Mary Jane almost cracked up the beast sometimes,
fucking,
so they're going to have the same...
Yeah, it's the same...
Same issues you and I
deal
have.
with the same fucking bullshit as everybody else. Have at. I don't give a shit.
But I've never had a problem. Well, I have to say that when I was younger and...
This destroys the sanctity of marriage. My fucking ass.
Yeah, I'm just going to say I agree with that at this point in my life. So anyway, Winona Ryder,
Yeah.
who I don't believe is gay, she's going to star in the Montauk. Well, it's kind of reports of...
Did you just say she's gay?
Around the Montauk. I said I don't think she's gay.
Oh.
She might be. There's no rainbow.
Don't fucking
over
start
her
making
picture.
alleged fucking accusations, Steve.
Pretty soon, Winona Ryder's lawyers are going to be contacting me.
Yeah, there you go.
No, because nobody listens to this show. So
Fucking
we're
right,
good.
nobody does.
She signed on as the star of a Netflix drama. Basically, it focuses around the reports of the Montauk Project, the alleged U.S. government experiments on Long Island involving time travel, psyops, and teleportation. Live people
What
ignore
about
the
the
strange
Montauk
and unusual.
Monster?
Yeah, well, that's part of it too.
Oh.
I myself am strange and unusual. This quote coming out of the lips of teenage goth queen Winona Ryder is probably one of the reasons why I developed a huge crush for her in the 80s, which only got worse with Edward Scissorhands. That's the writer of the story saying that.
Okay.
Anyway, the fact is Netflix is preparing to release a new series starring her in 2016. So the Montauk Project is what it's called, is without a doubt one of the most head-scratching stories in the Fortean underworld. It involves everything from the Philadelphia experiment, Tesla technology, time travel, aliens, soul migration, a chair which can literally manifest anything you can think of, and digital, hey, I'm in on this one, digital sexual stimulation as a deprogramming tool.
Steve, you had me at time travel, Steve.
You're not into the digital sexual
You had me at time travel, Steve.
stimulation, Chris?
You had me at no. I'm not into fucking having sex with fucking electronic devices. I'm not a woman. I don't need a vibrator.
How do you know? It might be better. I mean, if it's digital.
No.
It might be better. I don't know. Digital music is better than music.
I want a flesh and blood fucking woman
I agree.
When I'm getting
I
down.
want digital sex. From allgov.com, and this one's kind of a serious story. Why are so many babies dying in Vernal, Utah? And this, I believe, is related to fracking. A small Utah town located near a major oil and gas drilling operation has witnessed a recent spike in infant deaths. Neonatal mortality rates in Vernal, population 10,000, went up six-fold from 2010 to 2013, according to statistics compiled by local resident and midwife Donna Young. Young's troubling conclusion seemed to be backed up by government health report on baby deaths in a tri-county area that includes Vernal. Infant mortality and birth defect data from Daggett, Duchesne, and Uintah counties revealed the region experienced 13 infant deaths and 13 stillbirths in 2012 and 2013. Stupid teeth. Up from 11 infant deaths and 9 stillbirths.
I've been trying not to say anything all show, but motherfucker, those whistles are going right through my fucking skull.
I'll get used to it, Chris. Maybe by next Sunday, I won't be whistling so much. Epidemiologist. This is a serious story, Chris. It's about babies dying.
I know.
I
sent the fucking story to you, asshole.
Well, not this, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
You sent me the Rolling Stone version of the story,
which is, by the way, far more in depth. I'm going to read into it,
Right.
and I may possibly do that I may go into a whole show on that this week.
And I would suggest the listeners, go over there and read the Rolling Stone article as well, because it is much longer and more in depth. But epidemiologist Sam Lefebvre told the Tri-County Board of Health that the increase in adverse birth outcomes was notable, even though it's not statistically significant. From a local perspective, these findings should be concerning, particularly if these patterns persist. I think it's a good start, but I also believe that they're holding back a lot, Young said. I believe they know a lot more than what they're divulging. Government cover-up. That's what I think. She says the state government cooked the study by including Daggett and Duchesne counties, which are near Vernal but do not have the concentration of infant deaths that Vernal does. The state's findings were very, very vague. They were also very diluted. The problem area was in Vernal. They would not do a study just with Vernal. They diluted it down by 3 counties. They still found a problem, but they're refusing to look at where it's really a problem, Young told Newsweek. Lefebvre, I'm sure I butchered that, says the state's not planning any more studies of infant deaths in Vernal. Vernal sits in a region that produces 80% of the state's oil and gas, thanks in part to new oil and natural gas drilling technologies, aka fracking. They have made it more profitable to drill.
Great.
And that is that story.
It's all about the bottom fucking dollar, Steve. It's all about the bottom dollar.
The fracking has been a lot of things have been blamed on fracking, and this is the first I've heard of infant mortality rates going up, but earthquakes and all that sort of thing.
There was a documentary filmmaker recently who got kicked off of that uptight Brit show on Fox News, that uptight prick British guy. You know what I'm talking about? I can't think of his name.
I don't watch Fox News.
He's a dickhead. Anyway.
And if I did, I wouldn't admit to it.
No, I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch TV, period. But I want to say he did the documentary Gasland. Is that the one about fracking?
That I don't know, Chris. We'll have to look into this. This is a good...
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this. But anyway, it was a documentary filmmaker who did something about fracking, and he was on this. I can't think of the guy's name. One of the listeners will post it down below under the YouTube video in the comments section. But this fucking British guy, he's fucking asshole as far as I'm concerned. He's just a fucking dickhead.
Most of them are.
And they got talking about whether or not, he would want them fracking in his backyard, and he kicks the fucking guy off the show. And to me, it was pretty fucking telling about things.
Yeah, I get that you want to do things faster and better and make more money, but if it's going to raise your infant mortality rate or cause cancer or, earthquakes and deaths and things like that. I mean, look at the earthquakes that have come along.
It's something that's got to be looked into. And like I said, I'm gonna read through the article, and I'm considering possibly doing a show about it this week, and I might do that with Skyla. So
there is a guy on YouTube. I think he goes by the name Duchesne. I never knew how to pronounce it before, but I figured it out tonight. He does a lot of the earthquake stories, and I think a lot of it's related to fracking that he does. So you might want to check that out. He's pretty cool. He's got a huge following too. So that's the news, Chris.
Well, that ended on a depressing fucking note.
Serious though.
Yeah.
Serious stuff.
Serious. We are a serious broadcast. Harumph. Harumph. This has been Fortean Slip. I believe it's episode 80. If I'm wrong, fuck me. If you like this shit, hit the like button. If you don't, hit the thumbs down button. Leave a comment. Subscribe. Go to weslosner.com. Go to dreadfun.com. Is it dreadfun.com?
I don't know, but you can find him on YouTube under Dreadfun.
I feel awful now that I don't know what fucking Dreadfun's website is because I promote his YouTube fucking channel. Go to fucking youtube.com/Dreadfun, DREDFUNN. Subscribe to that motherfucker. Click on his ads and find out what his fucking website is.
By the way, if this is not episode 80, I'm going to set myself on fire like that preacher. Oh, wait, he didn't do it.
I was hoping.